Hey, ladies and gentlemen. So we are working on our United Kingdom country report. I'm going to kind of work through this with you. As always, you can look at the read document here, or you can look at it over in another tab. That is up to you. So this first section here, the multiple choice section, like we did last time, we're going to skip this. I'm not going to go over all this with you just because it's just stuff you need to search for the document. It's not difficult. You just got to find it and then record down what it has. Very basic stuff. So we're not going to go into that. We're going to come all the way down here to where we get to the questions that are more difficult. So number 11 says, tell me a little bit about the climate of the United Kingdom. So again, this one is fairly easy. You're just going to come down here. There's a section that talks about the climate. The United Kingdom has a temperate climate. This means that the country gets cool, wet winters and warm, wet summers. Not all parts of the UK have the same climate. London in the southeast of the UK region, or UK, is a region characterized by a warm and dry climate in the summer and cold and dry climate in the winter. So this is a little different than what they have up here. So I would just put this as the main part, and then I would also make a note that not all parts of the UK have the same climate, right? So that is kind of what I would put for number 11. All right, so that one is not very difficult. Let's scroll down here. What sorts of ecosystems can be found in the United Kingdom? So again, this is going to be in this environmental section, talking about climate and environmental issues. That is going to tell you what sort of ecosystem you're going to have. But again, I mean, this is an island, so there's some stuff you can figure out. Like they're obviously going to have like an ocean ecosystem or a water ecosystem here. It tells you that they have, temperate climates. So they're not going to have like a jungle. They're probably not going to have deserts. They have mountains. So you can go through this. I'm not going to give you all the answers, but, there's, enough here for you to be able to fill out what sort of ecosystems are found in the United Kingdom. How are people using the land or depending on the environment? So this one, you're going to want to look through the environmental issues, right? Because the reason why you usually have environmental issues is because people are using the land. And then the resource section. These two sections usually give you the information you need for the land and depending on the environment. Natural resources, again, they have a list here. There's also this map that shows you what natural resources there are. You can always zoom in, guys, if you can't see, So like right here, you have coal, copper, iron, oil, tin, wheat, potato, so that gives you all the information you need for that right there. How do people change the land? All right, so this one, environmental issues again, and resources are going to be the important ones, and then agriculture. So these three sections are where you're going to find how people change the land in the United Kingdom. How have human activities affected the United Kingdom? Mostly that's going to be in here. I mean, you can get it in the other, the resources or the agricultural section, but like kind of the big changes that you're going to find are going to be in the environmental issues section. How has the United Kingdom physical geography affected the people living there? So this one's a little more complicated with the United Kingdom. You're going to want to look at the terrain section usually. And then for this one, you want to find out where they're talking about colonies and their centralized locations. So I'm going to come over here so I can use the search function. Or let's see, we're going to look for mercantilism. There we go. All right, so Historically, Great Britain has been at the forefront of international trade due to its geographic location, colonial expansion, and naval fleet. So, because of the fact that they were an island nation, in order for them to trade with others, get things that they cannot produce on their island or islands, Great Britain has had to historically trade using merchant ships. They built up quite a merchant fleet. And then, of course, they had to, build up a navy to protect the merchant fleet. So they had quite the navy as well. For a long time, the British Navy was the best navy in the world. So they, had their colonial expansion section where they went out and they kind of colonized all these different places. And all this was brought around because of their geographic location. So that would be the stuff that I would use to talk about here, right? How does that stuff affect the people living there? So you can talk about that. You can also talk about the climate and the weather, like how is that going to affect people with it being temperate? And you can talk about, the mountainous regions and how that would affect people. So those would be kind of the ones that I would focus on for this particular question. Again, you don't have to put all of that in there. Just pick a few things and tell me some stuff. Just kind of prove to me that you read the paper, that you understand it. What can you tell me about the United Kingdom society? All right, so this is the one where you're going to want to come down here to people. You're going to want to read about the ethnic groups, the languages, the religion, and the culture. All right, so those are going to be the important things. You take all that together and then just fill me in on what their society is like based on those things, right? Because those are kind of the big things that determine a society, right? Your ethnic breakdown, your religion, and your culture. What are the major religious beliefs? That's right here in the religious section. How has the United Kingdom's history shaped the geography? So this one's going to be very similar to this one. But you can also talk about the political or social geography. So remember that, they colonized a lot of these places and they brought, their religion, their ideas there, but they also brought a lot of ideas back from the places that they colonized. So if you don't want to talk about the same stuff, you could always talk about the colonial expansion and how they brought, social and interesting things back from those colonies to Great Britain. Couple interesting facts. That's going to be completely up to you guys. Whatever you think was interesting. Important things, same sort of thing. Like, what do you think is important to remember about the United Kingdom? Like, what makes them special compared to other places? And then current events, as always, are kind of here at the bottom. All the way down, right? There's a lot here. I would look at this stuff here. It talks about UK leaving the European Union, and then you can kind of find out more right here, how they joined in 1973 and then left. So that's kind of what I would put into the current events section. All right, and that is it for the United Kingdom Country Report. As always, if you have any questions or you're not certain where to find something, that maybe wasn't covered on this video, just shoot me an email and I'll do what I can to help.